My name is Espy. I live in Rexburg, Idaho, and I have been running the Teton Dam Marathon since 2015. The first time I ran the half marathon was 2015, and it was just a few months after my son was born. It was a very scary time, and I was just stuck at home for 4 months. And after he was born, I decided I needed to do something for myself. I have always liked running and never ran, a half marathon or more than 6-7 miles. But I just set a goal to run my first half marathon after my son was born. My husband wasn't a runner, but he was very supportive of my crazy running ideas. And for Mother's Day, he would always let me go on a long run, come home, take a shower, and I could take a long nap. So that was, it wasn't much, but it was something that meant a lot to me. So 2017, we ran the race again with more friends and family, and everyone thought we were crazy because we invited them to do something they've never done, and most don't like to run. But somehow we convinced them to join us, and since then our running group just got a little bit bigger every single year. So in 2018, I started training for the half marathon, and my husband got a job in Carlsbad, New Mexico, and we ended up moving just during the move, we ended up moving during the my training, and I wasn't able to run the race. So that was the first year I didn't run the Teton Dam Marathon, and I was really sad about it, and I thought that was the last time I was going to run it. While I was in New Mexico, it was so hot and I wasn't able to train. I wasn't able to run. Even if I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, there was no way I was gonna be running because it was just hot all the time. So life kind of changed, and I started doing other things, kind of just forgot about the race. And in October, it was October 13th, my husband was in a car accident on his way to work, and he died at the scene. For a few months, I was just lost. I didn't know what to do, how to move forward, how to keep going, what my purpose was. And there was some days where I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't know if I could keep going without him. The end of January 2019, my son and my sister made the drive to Carlsbad. We had just purchased our first home, and I didn't know what I was gonna walk into when I got to our house. I walked in, and it was just a frozen time capsule. A couple days went by, and I think I had nothing in me. I had nothing to give. I didn't know if I was gonna be able to keep going, and how. So one day I decided to buy a treadmill on Marketplace and had it in my living room, and I decided to start training for the full marathon. I downloaded a training guide, and I had my miles set on the calendar, my shoes just right by my treadmill, and I did not miss a single day of my training. 19 weeks, I would wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning so I could get my miles in before I took my son to school. I just did everything I could to just keep going. And a couple weeks into it, I just messaged all my friends, family. I said, I am training for the Teton Dam Marathon, the full marathon this time, and I want you to join me. And we're gonna do this race and dedicate it to Alan. And even though he wasn't a runner, he was always at the finish line. He would always meet me at mile marker 10, 11. He would have a sign, he would have the kids all cheering for me. And that always meant a lot, to just have his support and cheer me on. And even though he probably thought I was crazy, but he was just always there at the finish line, no matter what time it was, and always dropping me off at the starting line. So after I invited friends and family, I had my brother, who was also a runner. He decided he was going to run the full marathon with me. Most of the friends and family that I had invited were not into running, had never done a race, never even ran a mile, and they all agreed to do this race with me. We had over 50 people that had registered for the race, and I made everyone AK Night Rider shirts. So the Night Rider name, my husband came up with it. And in high school, he decided he was gonna be a bull rider. And he asked his mom if she could make him custom leather chaps with Night Rider on the side. So, of course, Mom made them, and they were awesome, and he wanted to show them off. So he rode a bull once and kept the name. And now, after everything happened, I kind of was trying to figure out the best way to keep his memory alive. And he loved his initials, he loved his last name, he wanted his initials and name on everything. Blankets, shirts, sweatshirts, he loved his last name. And I figured, since our group just had, a lot of people that were gonna participate, and so I thought, we are the Night Riders. Like, whatever happens, we're gonna ride this wave together. Like, we're gonna do this together. So that's how the name Night Rider came about, and I put his initials on the front of the shirt. So we could all remember the reason that we're doing it. Because not only was he always at the finish line for me, but he was always there for everybody else that wore the shirt. Everybody else that showed up, he was always there for them. So the day of the race, we had, everyone showed up from Colorado, California, Utah, Idaho, and I realized that I wasn't the only one grieving. I wasn't the only one that was still trying to figure out how to survive and how to get through this. So having friends and family join me that day, that was very emotional. It brought a lot of happiness. It brought us together. But it was also really hard to do it without Alan. And, that day we realized we all have to face our floods somehow. And coming together to do the Teton Dam Marathon is exactly what we needed. So from that day, we all committed to gather June 2nd in Rexburg, Idaho, and do the Teton Dam race. After 2019, we started losing other family members and friends. And, a lot of times you think, that can't happen to me, that won't happen to me, I won't ever have to grieve, go through that journey. And for our family, our group, our Night Rider group, we lost a lot of good people along the way. And 2020, January 1st, we all started training again. And everyone was committed and excited, and we have our group of friends that kept each other in line and training and held each other accountable. And then the race was canceled, so we weren't able to do the race in 2020. And 2021, we all committed to come back stronger and invite more people and make that year our biggest group yet.